Welcome to Dadograms. I'm Jason Garrett and I created Dadograms to help all of you learn how to win in life. And earlier this week, I shared a longer Dadogram that told a story including some hard lessons learned about money habits, mistakes, and why quick fixes really never seem to work. If you missed it, I encourage you to go back and watch the entire Dadogram from start to finish. But there's one part of that message that's so important and that stands alone, I wanted to include it right here in this Dadogram Weekend Reminder so that no one missed it. I'm going to give you a step-by-step process that can make you wealthy. And I'll describe how it worked for me and how it's worked for countless others. So if it's something you're interested in, becoming wealthy, pay attention. Here it is played from my last video, 7 simple steps to becoming wealthy. Step 1, get a job. Any job. Your first one won't be your last, but you have to start someplace. And you start with your first job. You're earning pay. My first job was at 15 years old, a busboy at a restaurant, and I made minimum wage, or less, all the way until I got into the Navy at age 24. That's 9 years of working that I got paid minimum wage or less. If I did it, you can do it. Step 2, set aside 10, 15, maybe 20% of everything you earn. You put it in a savings account that's hard to get to. You do this without fail. Every single time you get a paycheck, you put that same percentage of that paycheck into the savings account. It's that concept of paying yourself first. If you can automate it, do it. Do this for a year and see what happens. I did this when I was about 18 years old, just out of high school. Now, if you keep getting into it and taking the money because you have an emergency, or you want to buy a toy, or you want to have a good time, you have to fix that because that's the damn problem. If you can't save straight for a year without touching it, you'll never have a chance to be wealthy. On the other hand, if you have a shocking amount of money in that savings account after a year, and you should if you're actually saving and not pulling it out, it's gonna feel wonderful. But you still have to keep doing the same thing. Put more money in and don't take it out. Step 3, after a year of putting money into savings and not taking it out, look for another safe place to put that money that will earn you more than your savings account. You want to be earning interest here. Try a money market account or a CD or a Roth IRA and start putting money into that. If you don't know what those are, that's okay. Learning is also part of this process all the way through. Put that money in there every paycheck. When you do this, your money is now making its own money. It's an employee working for you. It's not making a lot, but it is making more than it was just sitting in that savings account. When I was 18 or 19 years old, my dad helped me open an IRA, and every payday, money just automatically came out of it and went right into my IRA. It was invested in mutual funds, and that's how I first started to learn about the stock market. Here's the key. I didn't stop saving just because I was investing. I kept putting money into both savings and the investments. And when I got a raise, I enjoyed it, but I also increased what I was putting away since it was always the same percentage. Because it was automated, I never had to think about it. The money just kept building quietly in the background. Step 4, as you go from working a job to a profession, like I did when I was 24 years old and joined the Navy, you'll likely get to contribute to a 401k. That's a retirement plan your employer offers. If they offer it, you do it. Put as much as you can into your 401k, especially if they're matching it. This is more wealth building. Step 5, eventually you're going to want to buy a house. Do it. That's what you've been saving up all that money in your savings account for all this time, the down payment. Make sure it's a good one, in a good location that you can afford, and don't forget to consider insurance, taxes, and maintenance. And just so you know, having to put 20% down on a house, that's a myth. You may have to, but there are lots of programs out there that allow you to use less. So do your research. And also, you might be able to pull money from your 401k for the house. So don't forget to ask. In the meantime, as you buy a house, keep putting money away into savings and in your IRAs and your 401k, and keep improving the home you're living in. Maintain it well. For my wife and I, we got into our first home, a condo, when we were in our late 20s. 6, eventually you're going to want to move. Maybe you get a new job, maybe you get promoted, or you have a family and your house no longer fits your growing needs. This is important, folks. When you need to move, buy another house and do not sell the old one. Keep it, rent it out. Now you have someone paying into your investment fund, your tenant who is paying down your old house. See, for my wife and I, that happened when we were 30. Step 7. If you keep putting some money into savings and assets like IRAs and 401ks and buy and keep a house on occasion, in 20 to 25 years, you will be on a path to being wealthy, if not already there. Then, when you get into your 40s, something weird's going to happen. And it happens to every single one of us. You suddenly get very, very interested in investing. Whether you are worried you may not have enough to retire someday, or you want to start understanding what you've already got, or maybe you just want to start managing your wealth better, you'll start educating yourself on different ways to invest. Then you'll look around to see what assets you have that you can actually invest with, and you realize, I've got a savings account, an IRA, a 401k, and several houses. You've got real estate. Not long after, you're going to be legitimately wealthy. At that point, you can keep working if you want, you can take a long vacation, or no longer work at all. It's that easy. Well, almost. There are a few don'ts. Don't buy toys like RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, if that means you have to dip into your assets or even decrease the amount you're actually investing into them. Don't do that, okay? Those are called toys. They're liabilities, and they literally suck money right out of your pocket. Think about it. Not only are you buying them, but you have to insure them, you have to pay for the maintenance on them, you have to pay for fuel on them. They may be a hell of a lot of fun, but they're just sucking money right out of your future, and they will keep you working for the rest of your life. And one other word of warning about investing this way. There's a concept called the hockey stick effect, where you invest and nothing seems to happen. Nothing seems to really be increasing. And you'll get tempted to quit. I sure in hell did. But don't. Keep investing. Then after a few decades, you'll look at your net worth and it will be increasing near vertical, straight up. That's where you want to get to. I'm telling you, when that happens, it is stunning how fast your wealth accelerates. See? All right, folks, that was most of the core message from my last Dadogram. And perhaps the most important key to success of this plan is the discipline to complete it and the patience to stay after it for decades. If you can do that really boring plan for years upon years, you'll be surprised at how life will turn out for you. Okay? So before I go, I did add a surprise to the end of my last video that's important for each and every one of you to hear as well. So I'm going to include it right here for you to enjoy. Hey, if you're still here at the very end, I'm going to give you a bonus. This is kind of like a hidden track on an old CD, and it can help you measure if you're on track to building wealth. It comes from the book, The Millionaire Next Door. Here's how it works. First, we need to know your net worth. That just means that you take the fair value of everything you own and subtract it from everything you owe. For instance, if you have a house and you could realistically sell it for about $225,000 and you still owe the bank $160,000, then you take $225,000 minus $160,000 and your net worth in this case would be $65,000. Now you'll need to do this for everything you own of value. Add up everything you own, like cash, retirement accounts, savings, cars, houses, anything you could sell. I'd skip clothing, but jewelry counts if it's real. Now subtract your debts. Credit cards, student loans, car loans, house mortgages, money you owe a friend, all of it. Whatever's left, that's your net worth. Now you have your net worth, and that was step 1. Step 2 is use the millionaire's formula. This will help you figure out if you are a PAWS, a prodigious accumulator of wealth, or a UAWS, an underaccumulator of wealth. If you want to be wealthy, you need to be a PAWS. So keep that in mind. Here it goes. Take your age, multiply it by your yearly income, then divide it by 10. So let's say you're 40 years old and you make $100,000 a year. The formula says your net worth should be $400,000. Now compare your actual net worth to this number. If you're ahead of that number, you're doing great. If you're behind, don't panic. You're not a failure. It just means that you probably haven't been focused on the right things now. You now need to get serious about savings, investing, and sticking with the plan. Here's the secret. The formula isn't about making you feel bad financially. It's just a measuring stick. It shows whether your habits are building wealth over time or whether money is slipping through your fingers. The point is, you can catch up. You can change your habits starting today. Stick with the steps I gave you, and over the years, your net worth will grow. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, until one day you'll look back and realize you did it. You became wealthy. You have enough to live on without ever having to have a job ever again. Easy. Good luck to you, folks.